Well, what can we say? With Daniel Craig, they decided to reboot the series with Casino Royale, and it jump started the series back up. It got a more realistic Bond that even Ian Fleming would be proud of. It brought up brought new modern twist to it. It had some of the classic things that we liked in the Bond movie, and everything was good. Then they made Quantum of Solace, which I personally did like. Granted, I will admit it wasn't as good as Casino Royale or any other Bond movies, but it was still a good movie. But then MGM went into bankruptcy, and we didn't have a Bond film for a few years. And then MGM got out of it, thanks for help from a lot of people. And then we got another Bond movie coming out, Skyfall. And we thought, okay, it'll hopefully be better than the other ones. And the teaser trailers seemed great, and then we had a regular trailer that actually told more of the story, and that was good. And well, but we still were worried: is it going to be as good as we hope it'll be? Will it be kind of a disappointment or a letdown as Quantum of Solace, or what? What is it going to be? Well, I have to admit, this one was quite surprising. By far, probably the best Bond ever. To what I said earlier, I'm not kidding. Of all the Bond films out there, this is by far the best. Not just of the Daniel Craig movies thus far, and this is probably the best one he'll do yet, but of all the Bond movies, I mean, this is of all the Bond movies in general, this is the best. Uh, if there was ever to be a Citizen Kane of Bond movies, this one would be it. I mean, it is that good. It's surprising. It seems like that even during MGM's bankruptcy period, where Bond nothing could really be made. They had to hold the Bond movies on hold. What was it? The Hobbit was in risk of not being released. Red Dawn, this and that. It looked like that the production team took that time to make a good movie. I mean, the script was beautifully written. I mean, the story was great. It was somewhat original, but it was done in a way that it was just like, wow, this is new and exciting. The characters were excellently performed as well as written on the script. Their struggles are felt, and we hope for a happy conclusion to all their struggles in the end of the mission. Their development was very well planned and executed throughout the whole movie. The action scenes were great and exciting, making you really cringe at the edge of your seat through all the thrilling twists and turns of the entire movie. I will have to admit, though, granted they stole a little bit from The Dark Knight to make the villain Silva more unpredictable and shocking, but he was still a very good villain and different from all the others. Silva, played by Javier Bardem, was really well done. He performed it well. You could see kind of nods to other Bond villains in there as well. It was pretty well. And he was different from all the others too. You will have to admit, he wasn't kind of the cliched villain, not at all. It was good to have Q in this one, and to start seeing gadgets come into play with the series. The witty banter between Craig and Ben Whishaw was funny, and you could tell it was like the start of as it was said in Casablanca, it was the start of a wonderful friendship, and one that we hope to see in future films as well. I mean, come on, seriously, everybody loves the scenes with Q in all the Bond movies. This just seems like the start of something that'll be as good as the other ones, or better. Um, the main title sequence was very well done, using elements from the film itself. Some of the things you'll see in there, you'll be like, what the heck, why is this in there? Then you see the movie, you're like, oh, that makes sense why it's in the main title sequence. And also, it was nice to see actually have a song use the title of the film in it, rather than like the last two where it wasn't, or what was it, like Quantum of Solace, where it just didn't seem to fit right. And with this one, the song fit not only the main title sequence, but the film as well. And the last film, it just didn't really mix that well. And also the song was catchy. It was very well. It was well written, and performance of Adele, I believe it's pronounced. I'm not familiar with her, but I don't know how to pronounce her name properly. But Her voice was well, and it was beautifully performed. I'm not going to say it's as good as Shirley Bassey, but her singing was great, and the song was good. Um, from just a critical point of view, I love this movie, and I have to admit it is a must-see for everybody, for all Bond fans and non-Bond fans. I struggled with the rating of this. I was thinking about giving it 4.5 stars, but as I was thinking about it more and more, I have to go with 5 stars. I know you guys are probably shocked about that. You're like, 5 stars, really? A Bond film, I wouldn't expect it. But yes, I give it 5 stars. It was that good. I mean, seriously. Uh, it was that good. So now we will get to the other part of this review where, because I'm a fan of Bond, I'm going to go with a fanboy point of view now. So thank you for watching. Oh my god, this is the best Bond film ever! Okay, yes, I know I've already praised it enough in the critical review, but as a fan, I have to praise it even more. After seeing this one, we can definitely see why it's being such a big hit in Europe and worldwide, raising like pretty much over $2 billion within 7 days, and why even Roger Moore himself, after seeing it, it says that Daniel Craig is even better than Sean Connery, and I can see that as well. I mean, Sean Connery, yes, he'll go down in his history as one of the best Bonds ever, because you started it, and this and that, and we all love you, but Daniel Craig is pretty much on par with you right now. I mean, he is as good as you, if not even better. Excuse me. What this film is, not only is it a great modern piece, make it more realistic, kind of gritty in that, but this film also comes back full circle with some of the things that the Bond franchise is known for, some of the classic Bond themes and features that we've all known and loved that have made the series successful throughout the years. Excuse me, but with a slight modern twist to it. The theme is brought back finally. I mean, we've heard it in the last two a little bit, like once or twice, but not as played out as this one. This one, they not only bring it back, but they bring it as part of the musical score as well. Either for just a musical cue, like the very first scene that's brought up, there's a figure that walks into frame, and they play a slight bit of the Bond theme, and it's just a cue to bring in the music into the scene, and it's Bond that walked in there. And then either they do it for an action scene too. They play the Bond theme a little bit to heighten the feeling of the action, or whenever Bond does like what we all call a Bond moment, they play the theme a little bit. We also have some exotic locations in Turkey, China, Britain, and Scotland. They wouldn't be called exotic for nothing. They were very beautiful, and we all love them. We had some very exotic Bond girls in this one. I don't need to explain why with that. I mean, every Bond woman we've seen from the series is just gorgeous. Main title sequence, felt like a classic Bond main title sequence. It also felt like an art. It also felt very artistic as well. And we had a song that actually had the title of the movie in it, unlike the last two Bond movies. And like I said before in the critical review, it fit the movie. And it was cool to see some things from, like I also said in the critical review, it was good to see some things from the film actually in the main title sequence. And much like the Bond films since the Roger Moore era, we have Bond actually in the main title sequence. But with this one, which was interesting, we actually had the villain in the main title sequence as well. And that was cool. So it was nice that they do little things like that. Our famous quartermaster is back with this one. He's played by Ben Whishaw, who, without effort, with no effort at all, captures the spirit of the character that not only will please any Bond fan out there, including it pleased me very well, but would have made the late Desmond Llewellyn proud. I mean, he would have loved this guy. The witty banner that they share brings back all the memories of the past adventures and scenes with Q of the other movies that will just make us want to see these two even more. Uh, in this film, Q even makes a remark about not making silly gadgets like before in the other movies, like for instance an exploding pen. No silly gadgets. In this one, he just gives him a gun that is palm printed to only to Bond, and also gives a little tiny radio transmitter that he just flicks on to call for help. And that's it. And Q makes a funny little quip about not making any exploding pens, that they're beyond that now, and it was funny. Again, it's a reference to past Bond movies. And on that note, a diehard fan will notice little references and nods to past Bond films that are either very subtle or completely obvious, from, like I said, the exploding pen remark to what could be a nod to Jaws if it is a correct interpretation. In the film, at one point, a character actually digs into his mouth and pulls out his upper jaw, and you see like ruined teeth or something. I'm like, whoa, that is creepy. And what went through my mind was, is that a reference to Jaws? Because when this movie was first being talked about in the first cast, I was like, is that character playing Jaws? And when that character did that, I was like, oh my god, it's Jaws. And when he pulled out his mouth, I kind of interpreted that as a reference to Jaws. And if that is a correct interpretation, if that is correctly interpreted, then that is a reference to Jaws. But I'm not saying it is. That just could be me. I will not reveal or ruin the ending of the movie, but I will say that the ending will make a fan both happy and sad. Happy enough to be more than excited to see the next film, but sad enough to cry. I mean, I did shed tears at the end of this movie, but you'll have to see the movie to see why. As a fan, I agree with the critical review of 5 stars. I have not seen a Bond movie as good as this in years, and I hope they continue to do something as good as this, if not better, with future movies. Thank you very much for watching this review for this movie. Please do see this movie. I highly recommend this to everybody, as both a fan and a critic, as a hobbying critic of films. So, thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Okay, to show you how much of a fan I am of this series, let me show you my collection. Alright, as you can see here, I have a documentary of the James Bond story, but I also have all the Bond movies, as you can see. Every single one of them in both regular DVD, special edition, and Blu-ray. Of course, have Never Say Never Again as well. And then we have all the way up to Quantum of Solace. I don't have the Blu-ray 150-year anniversary box set yet, but I will get that eventually. This is something my mother made me a long time ago. It's a little box case she'd made me to hold all my Bond DVDs in. It was pretty nice. It was pretty cool, and I still carry it around. It's something nice she made me. Of course, shaken, not stirred at the top. And also, as you can see, I have all the Bond novels, both old and new. I don't have the first prints, but as you can see, I have new ones, and the new ones I got, like this print of Casino Royale, I got myself. That's one of the re-releases. And the old books, like this one, I got from my grandmother. She read some of the Bond books, so she gave me her copies to read and collect. And there we go. And I have enjoyed all these Bond books. If you have not read them, they are fun to read. I also have the audiobooks to them as well, and those are fun to read. They are very well read. My favorite author of the one is Simon Vance. He reads them very well. But Robert Whitfield is just as good as a reader as Simon Vance, if you ever read from him. So yeah, this is all my Bond collection. This is how much of a fan I am.
Thank you for watching this entire video, and have a nice day.